Okay, today I thought we'd talk about some of the large plastic robots that were made in the USA starting, let's start back in 1954, and I'll go up to about 1983. And again, these are just ones made in the USA, and main difference being that they're plastic. So if you start with Robert the Robot, in the 50s there were 3 different versions. The first version is this guy here. He had the clear plastic parts. He had a tool chest that you could open with the 3 tools that are down here that would come with it. There is when you take his head off, you can put a battery in there and then control the switch to turn a battery light on the eyes. And of course, well, you can look up Robert the Robot. There's nothing mysterious about him. I mean, he's on a cable drive system where you turn a crank to drive him forward or backward and pull a lever to steer. There's a crank on the back of the robot that actually runs a physical record player where he says his lines. So the very first one, which influenced so many other toys, because it's one of the first skirted robot toys. So this would be back in 1954. Then by 1955 they released it again, but you can see they dropped the tool chest. No more tools to make it cheaper, make it more profitable. And then 56 they dropped all of the clear plastic parts and the tools again to make it cheaper, more cost effective. And I wasn't particularly going to cover it, but as long as we're talking about Robert the Robot, we might as well slide down here and we can see that version there, Robert, which it came out, what, seems like 2006 or something like that, where they came out with another version of it. And of course, instead of the physical record player, it has a digital chip in there that plays the lines, and I don't know, just not as good. So, from 1954, let's go to 1955. We had Electric Robot, and I'm going to try and get these guys in frame. Again, they're big, and I've got so many things in the aisleway here, it's hard for me to get the camera pulled back any further. So sold both as Electric Robot and Electric Robot and Son. They have a tool drawer, and it came with a couple of tools in there, plastic tools in the case of this one, which is made by Marx, if I remember right. Robert the Robot was made by Ideal and had die-cast metal tools. So you had the battery-operated lights, you have a motor-driven base, you have a lever on the back that you would move to make them turn or go forward or whatever. It's a very slow-moving robot. Mechanically linked arm to these knobs on the back that you could twist. Has a Morse code buzzer that you could buzz. Eyes light up. An antenna that you could raise and lower. And the Sun version, I'm going to move this. The Robot and Sun version would come with this little plastic sun. So that makes it the Robot and Sun. And there were various color variations of the robot as well. So that gets us to, that's 1955. By 1956, America was making, and I don't know if I can get Mr. Adam in there. He's even bigger. I'll give you a scan. A very large walking robot. It's battery operated. It was made by the Advanced Doll and Toy Company, as I recall. And you have a speed control on the front, on, off, and full power, signal buzzer, light, independent walking legs. Very large, very small feet for such a large robot. And let's put a few things back where they belong before I move on. Otherwise I'll forget. So just hang on there a minute. I'm hanging up stuff off camera that I'd moved. Okay. So that brings us to 1960. We got to move over here for 1960. That would bring us to Ideal Toy Corp and their original Mr. Machine. Now there were a lot of different versions of Mr. Machine through the years, but this one sitting on the cardboard base and everything, that's the original one that you could take completely apart. Actually would ring the bell on the front, played a song, steered, had the big wind-up metal key in the back. And then later, I don't know how many different versions they did, but back in the 70s they came out with another one, which is that one there, and then recently they came out with another version. Well, more recently anyway, let's put it that way. So, 1960, Mr. Machine, that brings us to 1961, large plastic robots. Let's talk about Ideal's Robot Commando. Giant robot with a wired remote control that allowed you to do, to drive it forward, left and right, fire balls out of the hands, open the head, fire a missile. Just a fantastic big mechanical toy, just incredible. 1963, that'd be Big Lou. Big Lou is the biggest of all the large plastic robots. He's a big sucker. And basically, other than the light-up eyes, everything on Big Lou was done mechanically by the operator. If you wanted the claw in the hand to open, you pulled a lever. If you wanted to fire a ball out of that arm, you pulled that. If you wanted to fire the darts out of the chest, you'd manually do that. He had a record player in him as well, where you'd turn the crank on the back of the head, and a place for batteries to make the eyes light up, and rocket launchers in the feet. And originally there was a compass that would sit there. Had a squirt gun too, as I recall. You got a viewport up there for aiming and viewing. There's your Big Lou by Marx. Let's jump up to 1969. That would bring us over here to like Rudy the Robot and the Tin Man Robot. And they were available in different colors. Rudy is the orange one, the black and red one, and then the Tin Man version one. Walking robots, and these funny looking bars in the front, or when it walks into something, then that would reverse the motor so then it would walk backwards. So it could walk forward or walk backwards. That was made by Remco, as I recall. King Ding. It's going to be tough to see the King. King Ding is 1971, thereabouts. I've got the entire Ding-a-ling Skyway sitting in front of King Ding, so it's going to be pretty hard for you to see the King. But he's back there. See him back there? Maybe. If I sit still for a minute, can you kind of pull him out of behind the Skyway? But up inside of King Ding, well, there was an elevator between his legs. He could walk, and he would raise the brain robot, which you can see up inside there, up in the elevator. You can find, if you look on YouTube for Ding-a-lings, you'll see the demo movie made by Topper Toys that shows King Ding and all the Ding-a-lings. In fact, even the Skyway, which is this long, if I can get back here far enough. It's a big setup, the Skyway kit. The box for it is sitting clear back there. And more of the Ding-a-lings in their boxes sitting there. They all had little motors that you would buy one motor pack and you could move it from toy to toy. Each toy didn't have to have its own motor pack. But anyway, the King, he's sitting back in there. It's hard to see. And then, I don't know, yeah, kind of moving, if you went clear up to 1982 and wanted to stay more plastic, I'm almost really going more into the educational area now. But Heathkit had come out with their Hero 1. And again, aimed more at educational type things. And of course the Hero Junior, and then way long after that they came out with the Hero 2000, which gets even bigger. But let's see, by 1983 we had Topo, and Topo was made by Android Incorporated. I can't really get far enough back here to get Topo in because of their shelving. He's big, but again, I think Topo and the Hero series by Heathkit, they're more of educational robots than they were toys. So I think maybe we'll end our giant American robots we'll end up back there with the King in like 1971 as far as the toys goes. Now there were plenty of other robots, plastic and otherwise, made in America. But I was just covering some of the larger ones and some of the earliest ones. And I think that's about all I wanted to show in this video.